This is Visionary New Earth Leaders Podcast with me, Jenny Lyon, empowering visionary healers, entrepreneurs and leaders ready to actualize their fullest potential by expanding their consciousness and embodying 5D leadership and blending cutting-edge energy tools with business innovation and strategy to create impact and raise the world's vibration. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, and I am a New Earth business mentor, a channel and master healer. I'm also the leader of my own business. I have 23 plus years experience in energy work, mentorship and coaching. I'm a married mother of 2 based outside London in the UK. If you're ready to step into New Earth leadership and 5D consciousness, this is the channel to tune into and learn about embodied New Earth leadership, the power of self, energetic solutions to leadership, spiritual entrepreneurship, and joyful feminine creation. This is the vortex supporting the leaders into the new earth. Hello and welcome to the next episode of Visionary New Earth Leaders. We are right in the middle of the 7 Conscious Leadership Archetypes, and today we are talking about the Counsellor and the Self-Centered. So I'm going to dive into the number 13-4, and this is a combination number, and the frequency of the 13-4 as an overall frequency is Christ consciousness. So it is my favorite frequency because it is the frequency that is going to help us get into ascension, or continue the ascension that we're in as a species and the planet, and also help us achieve our soul goals, really, because we're looking at aligning ourselves with our soul essence and with our purpose. So the 13-4 is one of my favorite numbers. I absolutely love the frequency. It is holding the frequency of the new earth. It's holding the frequency of abundance, teaching, counselling, as in like the counsellor. When I think of it, it's like somebody who holds space, but who is also embodied and a great leader and very compassionate and empathic. And that's something that I feel that we need to bring into leadership everywhere, really. And that sort of quality is going to help us take our teams, take our companies, take our businesses, entrepreneurship, everyone really, into the new frequency of the new earth. So let's dive into the 13-4. I'm going to tell you a little story about the 13-4 first, because the 13-4 holds so many beautiful energies, not just leadership as a counselor, but also it's like a soft, feminine, nurturing energy. This energy also helps people make excellent teachers, leaders, and counselors. Is wisdom, very centered in themselves, as in like know their own value, know their own worth, and very good at making money, and also very good at working with and managing a lot of information, projects and people. So it's like really great for leadership because they can sort of, I wouldn't say maybe multitask, but they can have a lot on their plate and serve on a high level at all these, in all these different directions. They're highly intelligent and success and achievement orientated, but in a very service orientated way. Strong belief in self and not afraid of taking any risks, because they have this inner stability. So somebody who is a counselor, they have the ability to draw people to themselves and serve them as the counselor. So it's almost like the energy of 13-4 is magnetic. People, opportunities, the things that you need for success and achievement in business comes to you. You don't have to chase. So the energy of chasing, which is kind of an old sort of paradigm masculine energy, is not present at all. So the 13-4 just magnetically draws it to them because they're holding such beautiful energies within them that it is actually attractive to be near them. And there's also a lot of unconditional love. And the 13 draws the people to you, and the 4 is the actual ability to share things and teach and be the counselor. So the combination numbers in that way makes it this way. And the energy is very spiritual, but it's a lot softer than the 9s. So it's almost like the 9s are the power of the dragon, and you've listened to the other episodes perhaps where I'm talking about the powerhouse. And the 9 is also needed, we need the 9 to sort of push through challenges and things. But a combination of the 9 and the 13-4 makes great leaders. And there's no coincidence that I've picked that for my overlay name, Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, where I have 3 13-4s in the overlay and 2 9s in my physical and spiritual talent. So that combination makes the leader very... it was my favorite combination, really, because it makes me like really lean into that leadership, the power of leading, having the resiliency to have the vision and move forward. But the combination with that so much unconditional love and holding and softness around the leadership really made it my favorite combination, really, to be honest. And that's why I picked it this way. But there was other reasons as well. I wanted the 13-4 and the 9s in my overlay name. So what can we see in leadership with these people? So anyone with 13-4s somewhere have got the capacity to activate them in that position, whether that is in a karmic or gift or even talent position, of course. My son, for example, he has a 13-4 in his physical talent, and he's got it also in his spiritual goals. So I can see how he does carry so much love in him just naturally. And he's very much about sort of waiting for things to come, leaning back, but enjoying being in the present moment. And I think that's also a really, really beautiful quality to have as a leader, because to be enabled to stay very centered in the moment, being present with what is presented to you, especially if there's stress involved, if you're in a position where you are holding a lot of people, where you're holding a lot of, tasks and projects, if there's stress involved, your ability to then tap into the counselor role, to be empathic, to be connected, to be available for the people that you lead, is a beautiful energy to have. It's a beautiful characteristic to have, because those people are going to be staying very loyal to you. They're going to feel that they trust you. They're going to feel connected to you. They're going to, be close to you, which is a beautiful energy to have as a leader, because that's how we create strong relationships, by being available, by being connected, by being empathic, by being compassionate, and by being this counselor. So, and I think what happens as well, what I've noticed is that many of my clients that come into my world, they stay for forever. Like, they come into my world and they stay connected with me. It's this longevity of building relationships this 13-4 has as well. It's this powerful energy of it's not just authenticity. It's like, it's a deep connection. It's a deep connection, and I love that so much, because that's how it's how I look at my life. I look at my life as my clients and the people in my world and in my business are people that I value highly, as well as my family, of course. But, I'm talking from a business perspective, and, they're really, really important to me. And I love being, hanging out with my clients. And I think that is a counselor energy too, to have the ability to stay close, but you're not so close so that you're confusing it with friendship, but it's a closeness of care and deep compassion and deep empathy for the people around you. And I think that's a great leadership skill. So when you look at, so these are the things, when you look at the 13-4, it's almost like it has this energy, apart from the counselor energy and teacher and being a leader in that sense, it also has this energy of being a great nurturer. So it's so versatile, actually. So I'm using this energy as well to become a great mother. And I wouldn't mother my clients, that's the wrong energy, right? Because otherwise they're not self-led. But as a mother, it's really helped me to pause, to be still, to really be with my children, be with them, close with them, spend time with them, listen to them, their opinions and their thoughts and their emotions are valuable to myself and my husband. Like, we are giving them space to be them. And that's a really, that's a good nurturing energy, right? So if you think of the 13-4 as fantastic for counselling and teaching and leading others, it's also a fantastic energy to be a great parent. And also, the 13-4 has the love for Mother Earth. So a love and affinity with nature, water, being close to nature, being really connected to the world that is around you, the exterior world of Gaia, really. And that is also beautiful because we can recharge in nature, and we can recharge and become much more grounded and stable within and centered from being in nature. So it's absolutely just brilliant. It's just a brilliant energy. So I just want to repeat that again with the leadership really there. So the amazing qualities of a leader or a counselor, or the 13-4, is the soft feminine and nurturing energies, which even in men is required, right? Making excellent teachers, leaders and counselors, the wisdom, very centered in themselves, managing a lot of projects at the same time. That's why they're so good as managers and CEOs and leaders of their own business. Very success and achievement orientators. You want to make profit and bank in your business. Want to make money so that you can spend that wisely and develop your business and continue to grow it effortlessly with a good profit margin, so to speak. And then also open to new opportunities, and you can intuitively also sense where to go next. What's the next step, and that is also beautiful, because as leaders, we really want to be intuitively led so that we can make those decisions, not just from an intellectual place, but also from an intuitive place. And often those are the most powerful decisions that we ever make. And strong belief in self and not afraid of taking any risks. So this is also brilliant in leadership, of course. We need to take some risks sometimes and trust that it's going to work out, and take our team or lead the people to the next project or next step, which is necessary for the evolution of the business. Brilliant. So that's kind of all the positive connotations of the 34. So now let's go into the negative connotations. And, I don't want to say negative as in like negative, but these are the challenges, right? Where it's difficult to navigate, and again, all these, when I talk about the positive and negative in this leadership archetype series, I don't talk about it as in like, this is not, not a bad person. It's the trauma, the conditioning, and the things that you've been exposed to, which have made the person this way. So still responsible for how one act and how one think and feel, of course. But there's normally always a trauma and a conditioning or programming in the background that creates this type of behavior, right? So let's look at the challenges and the difficulties. So somebody who's self-centered, they are often very also self-indulgent, and it means that they probably have quite low self-esteem, and they want to indulge in kind of soothe the pain in a way. So this self-indulgence and this self-centeredness can also relate to like overeating and, being self-indulgent in other ways, with food, drink, excessive shopping, excessive other things. That is, again, goes back to soothing some sort of pain underneath. So that's the self-centered, self-indulgent. They can also have money problems, keep creating shortages. And this is, again, the shortages comes from not valuing themselves enough, and not trusting themselves enough. So then that will then play out in, it's just a reflection really of their inner world, and there will be a shortage because there is a shortage of love, for themselves as well. And there's also could be like a lack of faith in themselves and what they're involved in, and they can push people away and become very isolated, and they can have difficulty learning and assimilating new things. So if you think of this, somebody who demonstrate these characteristics, what has often happened is that there could have been a mother rejection. The mother rejection is the very nurturing piece. The mother rejection is the very piece which often sends people into fear and lack of trust in the flow, and not feeling safe and not feeling loved, because the mother is the very first individual, or it's like the mother god, if you like, who's there to nurture and really fill this baby up, to feel good and to feel safe and to feel loved and to feel, it's unconditionally loved, right? So if a baby has not received this unconditional love, nurturing, holding, attachment, because there will be an attachment trauma, right? If the baby has not received this, the core wound would be the mother wound. And it's not necessarily just, as a baby, it could be also growing up, an absent mother, or the mother not being very loving, the mother being cold, or the mother being distant in some sort of shape or form, or the mother having her own addiction problems, or the mother, just generally a disconnect, right? And that always leads to these deep-seated needs for validation of attention. Because in the end of the day, babies and children, toddlers and children, they need lots of attention. And, they are the center of the universe when they grow up, because that's all they know, And then it's about us as parents, really to help them thrive, to help them thrive and be safe and secure in themselves, and knowing that they're always loved, protected, nurtured, and held. And that creates a very healthy attachment style with children. So I don't know if you know about attachment, the attachment theory, but there is a very clear sign when a child has had a healthy attachment style with their parents, particularly their mother. They become very healthy, stable humans who can deal with a lot of stress and a lot of challenges and overcome them quite easily. So there's a direct link between this. So I went into a bit of the mother wound there, but it's really so important to understand that no one is faulty. It's just a mask, or this layer, this film that is over the potential, that is dimming the light, which is whatever you've been exposed to. And this is where we heal this with divine healing, the light body activations. A lot of my clients have had mother and father wounds, and I help them overcome them. We heal them, basically make them. It's like, I want to say this actually. So the way it works when we heal a mother or father wound, because they are equally important, although the 13-4 doesn't demonstrate the father wound, that's a 10-1. But I'm just talking as because both parents are needed. The way we heal a mother wound is, it will look like this. This could be just an example. This is one example. We work with it. We find out the core wounding. So we say, okay, so my mother never picked me up when I was screaming as a baby. And how do we know that? Well, we can know it from just knowing that another parent has said that, or there were siblings who witnessed it, or the body remembers it. So we actually jump timelines, and we can go back and psychically basically see the images of what happened. So that's what we do. And so we say, oh, okay, so the baby was never picked up when they were screaming. That created a lot of fight and flight in the baby, and the baby started to activate their fight and flight, and then their nervous systems were triggered, and that created then this lack of safety and trust in the flow. And it made them also feel like they need to have to scream for attention in any shape or form. So any type of negative or positive attention was attention. So it's then started to develop in this way. So what we would actually do from a healing perspective is that we would go in and go back to that timeline, to that exact time frame. I would ask the client, where do they feel it in their body, the wound or the trauma. Then we do a shock and trauma release, and we work on that wound, make that energetically full and healed, so that wherever there is, it could look like a dark energy, or could look like a really sort of heavy energy in their stomach or in their heart or somewhere. And we actually just shift the energy. So we do shock and trauma release, then shift the energy, then install with a new belief around the relationship around the mother. And that's something that you need to keep working on, because we also then start believing. So what happens with trauma is that the child start believing that they are not worthy, start believing, making their own beliefs and their own narrative up in their mind about how they, are not worthy, how they're not loved, how they are not, good enough, all these things. And that's kind of, it's not always necessary that somebody actually said that to them, but that is the result of the neglect, right? So then they start creating this story. So we also not just have to energetically heal the trauma, and that could be different layers. So could just be, not just one time, but we could have to approach it from 2 or 3 different angles. And then also start creating, so rewire the brain, rewire the subconscious mind, and start creating a new narrative around their childhood and everything else. And then I also get my clients to write out the silver lining in everything, because there will always be a gift in every challenge. There will always be something that you've learned, that you grow from, and that you became better at. So maybe somebody who was neglected as a child, they became very good counselors because they do the healing, and then they are forced almost to attend to their self-love and filling their own cup up, because they feel so broken. And then they become very, very good at this. And then they become very, very whole and complete by doing the healing work. And what happens then is that they become very, very good counselors. So if somebody has, for example, a 13-4 in their karma and have a mother wound, then if they do the healing work and they are passionate about becoming the absolute best version of themselves and achieve their highest potential, they will then become, amazing counselors, amazing teachers, leaders, very compassionate, very connected, not self-indulgent at all, not self-centered at all, because they've done the healing work, right? And they will start healing their money problems, then they start entrusting the flow, and they become better, organizers in their business. And it's just so many gifts and so many golden nuggets in the healing work and the self-development that you just simply can't, you can't deny it. It's like everyone needs this, right? Because often, I want to say this, often people say, well, I'm okay, I've had a few traumas, baby, but they're not so bad, it's okay. But then when we start unpicking it, they realize how limited they have lived in their lives, like how little they think of themselves. It's only when you start a journey and then like, oh my God, shoot, this is like, wow, I didn't realize. And then they start a healing work, and then the gifts and the expansion and the connection and the truth and the love and all the things that they start feeling for themselves, it's nearly like almost overwhelming, because they're like, wow, this is how I'm meant to feel. This is how I'm meant to wake up every morning. This is the way I'm meant to live and breathe and be in my life and in my business. And that feeling, like, I can't even describe it, because you have to experience it, and you can only experience it by doing the work. So any more, let me just see here. Yes, so if you think of then, maybe you've met somebody who is very self-centered and sort of very neglecting others and very not available, as a leader. Maybe they might be a little bit greedy, or they're very sort of like, it's all very ego-centered. Perhaps you've had a boss, or you had somebody like that in your life that you worked with. Maybe your, people in your family or something have been like this. But it's basically all stems down to the unworthiness. So this is the self-centered, yeah? The unworthiness to receive the flow of God's love and abundance. So it comes down to this deep-seated unworthiness, which was created in a trauma or in an event in the past. And so this is not, you mustn't judge yourself. You mustn't think, oh gosh, this is the way I am sometimes, because this is another thing, right? We can have flavors and nuances of these things. It's not like we are acting like that all the time. There could be like moments, right? So it's almost like it's sort of like little red flags coming up. So I want you to be like soft with yourself and say, okay, yeah, I get it. I have had this wound and I have this wound and I can work on my, I am insecure and, I have moments of being selfish. And there is a lack of self-acceptance but I can heal this, but I'm not like that all the time. There are times when I'm very open-hearted and very much in the positive connotation of the 13-4. So I want you to be truthful to yourself and say, yeah, this has happened to me and I'm ready to heal it. And I really want to create a new way of being. I want to be this amazing leader, counselor, teacher who is selfless and who is full. Their cup is always full and have tremendous empathy, connection, and all of that with their team members, and really become this counselor. So I think that's enough for today. So I really recommend that if you feel that there is healing and work to be done in terms of becoming the counselor and really step into that limitless role of flow, abundance, love, Christ consciousness, all the things. If that is your desire, then my work is for you. So I'm inviting you to check out my page, my website. I have quantum mentorship available, which is amazing. In the quantum mentorship, I use all the tools like that I know of or that I have learned or embodied. So often we do a soul contract reading first, and then we unpick the core traumas or the core wounding, and we find out what they really are. But also then we look at your absolute highest timeline, what your opportunities and what your potentialities and possibilities are available for you this lifetime. And what happens is, although I can see all the places where there is a shortage because of conditioning, I can also stretch to the absolute polar opposite for you and see where your absolute highest potential, where your dare to dream vision is. And we go there together. We do that, right? So if you're ready for like quantum leaps and quantum shifts in your life and ready to sort of like go there, you're ready to go there, you're ready to do that, you're ready to do the work, you're ready to embrace and become the absolute highest potential of yourself and lead from this space of Christ consciousness and 13-4, then absolutely my quantum mentorship is for you. And I'm inviting you to come and do that with me. All my clients are, I would say, they're ready. They come in, they're like, look, I've tried other things and I just feel that I need the real stuff. Like I don't want to dip my toe in anymore. I want to go deep and I want to journey with you, Jenny. Then my work is for you as well. So I invite you to do that. Anything else, if you have any questions around the soul contract, or you want a soul contract reading, or anything else, just send me a message, email me. I'm here to answer your questions as well. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful week. And I'll see you soon in the next episode of Visionary New Earth Leaders. Thank you for listening to Jenny Lyon's Visionary New Earth Leaders podcast. If you're ready to rewire your subconscious mind, clear your programming and collective conditioning, transform your trauma into trust, and step into your soul's calling and true leadership, or if you're ready to unlock your fullest potential through activating your light body and expand your consciousness exponentially, detangle and clear your past life karma and Akashic records, and setting up for success, launch your online spiritual business, and so much more, then go to jennylyon.love. And if you're receiving value from the show, I would love if you would share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, you can join me in one of my live free trainings, and you can find it right on the website, as well as in the link in my bio across all social media. I am Jenny Lyon across all platforms. I wish you a blessed day, and may you live your most authentic self.